More students are enrolling at UNC, and that means the university needs more dorms. Now, they have a plan to build a couple of new ones, and it is expensive, like way more expensive than the last time they built new dorms. And it got us thinking about the ballooning cost of college and the burden that it puts on the student and the taxpayer. Let's go in depth. College is expensive, even if you don't go. $110 million of your tax dollars will build new dorms at UNC for the first time in decades. This is the area where all the work is going to happen. They'll replace this administrative building here, Jackson Hall, as well as these tennis and basketball courts over here. Two buildings housing about 700 students on land that the university already owns for $110 million. Does that seem like a lot to you? Let me give you some perspective. F&B Tower, a newer building in downtown Raleigh, cost $116 million. Right in prime real estate, 239 luxury apartments, offices, retail, coffee shops, restaurants. They have an outdoor pool, a yoga studio. There's a gym, even a dog washing station. You get the point. It's pretty nice. The last time UNC built new dorms was back in 2002. This is one of them here. They built 4 dorms for 960 students. The cost was roughly $47 million. It is wild to think about. In 20 years, we're spending twice as much to house 2/3 as many students. Have things really changed that much? Well, the short answer is yes, in more ways than you might think. Let's do some simple math on this project. If the dorm costs $110 million, you're looking at about $150,000 per bed. And since most rooms are doubles, you're looking at about $300,000 per dorm room. For some context, the median home price in North Carolina is $387,000. This wasn't lost on everyone. Even some members of the Board of Trustees were surprised by the price tag. I talked to Marty Kotis about it. He's the chair of the Budget and Finance Committee. He's also a real estate developer. He told me that regulation plays a big role.
We talked about a need for reform and regulation regarding some of the requirements that are imposed on the university by state and federal regulations, and how that can drive the cost higher than the private sector.
A lot of the costs will come from things like LEED requirements, which basically means green building standards, as well as hub requirements. So working with minority-owned or women-owned or disabled veteran-owned businesses, that sort of thing. And UNC builds things to last. Just take the Old East Residence Hall. This building has been standing since 1793. A university spokesperson told me, quote, "We use a 50-year approach, but that makes everything more expensive, from the framing of the building to the floorboards, even the handrails outside." It's one of the reasons places like Craig Hall, which was built in 1962, is still up and running. Although we should say a lot of private projects do follow similar rules. What is different, though, about public construction is how the price gets set, or rather, how it doesn't.
In the private sector, you might meet with a variety of contractors and discuss how to cost effectively build your project. In the public sector, unfortunately, the requirement is that you interview architects and construction managers at risk, and you don't discuss pricing really much at all. You don't discuss their fees.
It's called qualification-based selection. You hire the team first, then you talk price later. You see, the university already knows what it wants to spend. It takes a look at what other universities have spent and some of their own past projects. They sent me over this list of benchmarks: a $33 million dorm at Virginia Tech, $118 million at the University of Austin, and a $326 million dorm at the University of Florida. But those prices aren't based on local demand, not in the same way as they are in the private market. They're based more on what other universities and schools were willing to pay. It creates a feedback loop. Universities help create the market, then use it to justify the cost. UNC says they're just keeping up with national trends, but these national trends are getting more expensive and more competitive. Students want modern, premium amenities, and the dorms being built today are delivering. You should see some of this stuff. Some feature maker studios with 3D printers, laser cutters, sewing machines, and design software. Others include art studios, VR, and mindfulness suites, recording studios, or gaming rooms with high-end PCs and consoles.
It is a Taj Mahal mentality. It's keeping up with the Joneses in terms of other schools having a climbing wall, then you need a climbing wall, or other schools have a sushi restaurant, then you need a sushi restaurant. And it's, I feel like it has become a little bit too much.
And remember, your tax dollars are paying for this. And if your kid goes to UNC, they'll be paying tuition on top of that. A year at UNC, counting tuition, fees, housing, food, books, supplies, and loan fees, costs about $24,800. So you're looking at nearly $100,000 for a four-year degree. Yet, our state constitution says the University of North Carolina, as far as practicable, be extended to the people of the state free of expense, meaning as affordable as possible. Now, to be fair, UNC does offer some strong aid programs, but the cutoff for some of that financial aid might be a little lower than you'd expect. If your family makes not much more over $100,000 a year, you could end up paying full price. You know what? Let's be more specific. Let's paint the picture here a bit. Let's say you and your spouse have 3 kids. You each work, and together you bring home about $125,000 a year. But even with good salaries, there's lots to pay for. House, cars, insurance, bills, home repairs, sports, braces, medical bills, property tax, emergency expenses, retirement savings. Hopefully you get a vacation. Will it be easy for you to put away $300,000 for UNC? Does that seem as affordable as possible? Now, look, to UNC's credit, it is one of the most affordable public universities in the country, about $3 grand less per year than the national average. And while fees have gone up, they haven't raised tuition in 9 years. And of the students who do have debt, on average, they're borrowing about $27,000. 84% of Gen Z borrowers say that debt is delaying their lives, buying a house, getting married, having kids. So is $110 million a fair price for a new dorm? Well, if you look back to 2002, with the dorms they built for $47 million, if you apply inflation and some other costs, that would cost about $108 million today. So right in the same ballpark. So are we getting a fair deal, or have we been overpaying for decades? This is a story about cost, inflation, construction, college, and affordability. I hope it gave you something to think about. Email me at dan@wral.com. Tell me what's on your mind, and we'll go in depth.